at the size of these turbos, 76 millimeter.
All right, there you have it.
Hey everybody, Brooks from Drag Jams here. Welcome back to the channel. Just got to the Corvette ZR1 unveiling. We're down at the Miami Concourse in Opelika, Florida at the track. ZR1s are undercover right now. We're gonna walk in and check out what they got to see. Behind me is the all-new Corvette ZR1. This has the high downforce package. We got the carbon wheels. Look at the insanity. This car's making 1,064 horsepower and over 800 foot-pounds of torque from 3,000 to 8,000 RPM. That's an insane amount of power. It's still rear-wheel drive, 8-speed DCT, although I was told it was significantly built up. This offers a lot of difference between my convertible. So if you look at the back, just straight up back, if you were just looking down here, it would look pretty much the same. We got the vents coming out the side, center exhaust. But if you get the coupe, look what you get back here. You get a split window. They haven't done this since I think the 63 Vet, except the split window here is actually functional. We got some aero bits, which are relieving air from down in the engine. Carbon fiber wheels have changed in the design, more spoke and open. You got the canards up front, which are similar to the Z07 package on the Z06. Some other noticeable differences, you got additional vents on the coupe right here in the back fenders, which kind of come through. And then another difference in this big side vent, you actually have more aero or air induction or cooling coming in through here, which my Z06 does not have. They kept the Targa, so you can see we got painted sides with the carbon fiber roof. Inside looks just like my car. I'll jump in the side a little bit. It's got the Alcantara interior seats. Look at the size of the rear wing, all carbon fiber right here. This generates over 1,000 pounds or 1,200 pounds of downforce. Inside, wow, it looks like just like my car. You can see we got the Alcantara seats with the yellow stitching and the GT seats that I have. Inside, pretty much looks the same. Looking at the front of the car, I'm not sure if it's an S-duct, but you can see it's bringing it in here and kind of coming through the radiators, through the hood of the car. I'm assuming we lose all of the trunk space in the front on the ZR1, which is not a problem. I'll take the extra horsepower over that trunk space anytime. We still get some of the rear storage in the coupe right here as well. Now as we come over here to the convertible, this doesn't have the big aero package, but it still has this S-duct vents in the front right here. But as you come back, the convertible doesn't have the vents in the fender right here. It still has this intake in the side. And then basically this looks like the same wing that I have on my Z06. From the back here, I think the car is pretty much the same. Of course, when you go with the convertible, you lose the really cool split window effect right there. So that's gonna be a big decision if I get picked by Chevy to get one of these cars. If I get the ZR1, would you go with the coupe, which honestly looks way, way better with the split window back here, or the convertible and get that open top experience? Even though it is a Targa and the top comes off, I really like the way the convertible works because you get to roll down the rear window here and actually hear the engine with the top up. It still sounds really, really good. Top speed is 215 miles an hour. They said over 215, but I believe if you want to go 215, you're going to have to get the car without the big aero package. So you can see this car is a lot more sleeker versus, I think they call it the ZDK package, which is going to be on the ZR1. That is optional. Got a nice cutaway of the ZR1 where you can see a lot of the components inside. We got the airbox down there, transmission, still an 8-speed, but it's built up, they were telling me, to handle the massive amount of torque it makes. 800 foot-pounds from 3,000 to 8,000 RPM. To the front part of the cutaway here, you can see the kind of, I don't know if this is S-duct aero, which comes through here, right through the radiator out to the front too. Behind me right here is the engine for the ZR1. It's based, well, it's the same engine underneath as the flat plane crank that I have in my Z06, right?
Yeah, so it's the same Gemini engine family, which is that 5.5 liter flat plane crank that we know and love from the LT6. But with that, this is not an LT6 with turbos on. Essentially, almost all the components and systems of this were either upgraded or modified it to work with it, right? You're not gonna make 1,000 horsepower just strapping turbos on an naturally aspirated engine.
What's kind of phenomenal is that it makes 1,000 horsepower on 93 octane.
Yes.
Because a lot of other people need E85 or race gas and all that kind of stuff to make that, so.
And why do you want to go find that? And your fuel tank is gonna empty that much faster?
Oh, it's terrible, yeah. Like if you got a Demon, you're not making 1,000 horsepower even half the time. You're out looking for gas and all that kind of stuff. So 1,064 horsepower, 93 octane. And how much boost does it run?
Under nominal conditions, it runs about 20 PSI.
20 PSI.
It can go over that in excursions and hot conditions, but yeah.
Okay.
20 pounds of boost nominal.
20 pounds of boost, probably like all built internals. I mean, this thing's like a built motor coming from the factory, right?
Yeah, so the big difference is there. It still has it's almost the same forged steel crankshaft, Beefed up forged titanium rods, so the rods are thicker, wrist pin's bigger, pistons beefier, bigger dish in it, compression ratio is much lower. We dropped it from 12.5 to 9.8.
Wow.
That's part of having to do a unique head casting. We need a bigger combustion chamber, unique intake ports, unique exhaust ports, better turn for turbos.
Wow. And what size turbos we got on here?
There's 76 millimeter mono scroll ported shroud turbos, and they are ball bearing turbos as well. All
right, so we got ball bearing turbos. You get a good view of the turbo on this side right here. Yeah, this looks like something that comes out of a built, I don't know. It's a big turbo. Like, look at the size of this thing right here. Wow. Yeah, so Dustin was just saying there's a lot of things on the previous Z06 motor that they always knew this coming with the twin turbo. So a lot of the things are kind of like you might have seen on the motor, like something around back here.
Yeah, the oil tank was formed around the turbo packaging from the beginning.
Right.
As I said, this has been the plan since day one. It's not turbos on an LT6.
Right.
It was planned around it. And the other features that is in every LT6, that's part of the LT7, is LT7 has a 7th scavenge stage for the dry sump system, just for the turbos. All those casting cores, the actual port in the oil pump is there on the LT6, just without gears in it.
Right.
As I said, not an afterthought. This has been the plan since inception.
And what about the transmission in the car? Is that pretty much the same?
Transmission is not the same.
Okay.
Wider gears, beefed up components.
Okay. Still dual clutch.
Still dual clutch. Ratio is the same. Architecture is the same, but they did have to beef up the transmission to handle the torque.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, the launch has got to be insane on this car.
800 foot-pounds from 3,000 RPM, almost to 7,000.
And how much foot-pounds does this make in that same range? Not nearly as much. Half?
Well, being a turbo engine, it's flat, right?
Right, of course.
This is not as peaky. Yeah, it's half.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the Z06 does take a while when it winds up, but it screams.
But this is going to have that kind.
Engine. Yeah, this is going to have that instant torque way down low. So when you get on it, it's just going to move.
It's, as we've all joked, it's unrelenting. That consistent 800 foot-pounds.
Yeah.
The power build is just.
I mean, how do you even keep that on the ground?
Boot in your chest.
How do you even keep it on the ground?
The chassis controls in the car.
I mean, it's got to make 900 to the wheels-ish, right?
It's surprising. I've been driven rear-wheel drive cars, or front-engine rear-wheel drive cars with this, and now this one. It's amazing how usable 1,000 horsepower can be.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited. Quarter mile time, they are saying below 10 seconds, obviously, but the big thing they are saying is it traps over 150 miles an hour. And this is backed up by this acceleration video from a top speed run with the straight pipes in a prototype car with 2 people in the car with test gear and the high downforce package. Hitting 60 to 130 and 100 to 150 miles an hour in 5 seconds flat. While they continue on to well over 200 miles an hour. So that is super impressive, especially if it's able to do with this huge wing on the car, which is generating like 1,200 pounds of downforce. So lower than 10 to be 1,000 horsepower. If it gets a good launch, which I think it will, this is definitely I mean, it's got to be way below 10s. I'm saying this should do like 920s at 150 miles an hour with the proper track and the right setup. And while we're talking quarter mile time Chevy, I'm ready to try out the ZR1. I'll just drop my resume here for stock production cars. I set the world record for the quickest McLaren in my 765 LT, yielding 9.3 at 151 miles an hour. Quickest Ferrari, yielding 9.5 at 147 miles an hour. Quickest Lamborghini in my Huracan Technica with a 10.2 at 135 miles an hour. And to top it off, the world record for the quickest production car overall in the Rematch Navara, running 8.5 at 167 miles an hour. All right, so there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments about the new ZR1, 1,064 horsepower, on-pump gas, 93 octane, over 800 foot-pounds of torque from 3,000 to 8,000 RPM. That's a flat amount of power that's going to sell like crazy. I am super hopeful that I could get my hands on one of these cars. I know it's going to be super limited, but I do own a Z06. I've had it for over a year. So Chevy, if you're watching this, I would love to have one of these in my garage. I won't sell it. I will keep it. You'll see a lot of good content with the ZR1 on the Drag Times channel. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up. Helps me on the channel. And we'll see you next video, hopefully with a ZR1 in the near future.